Millions of Americans and their values are still under attack by two of the left wing's loudest voices. Listen.
His whole campaign, Make America Great Again, was looking backwards. You know, you didn't like black people getting rights. You don't like women, getting jobs.
It's one thing to talk to Jesus. It's another thing when Jesus talks to you.
Exactly. Okay, well, that's different.
That's different. That's called mental illness, if I'm not correct.
But I think
hearing voices.
Between Hillary trashing America's heartland and Joy Behar's mockery of Christianity, are Democrats out of touch with real American values? Here to debate this is RNC spokesperson Kayleigh McEnany and Fox News contributor Jessica Tarlov. Jessica, I started with you last week, so Kayleigh, I'll start with you this week. What are your thoughts? Is this going to hurt the Democrats?
Absolutely. Democrats have an elitism problem. They have precisely zero understanding of the hardworking men and women that make this country great. And look at President Obama back when he said that Republican voters cling to their guns and their religion and antipathy. And now Hillary Clinton saying they're backwards, deplorable, irredeemable. I mean, you have Hollywood elites like Joy Behar disparaging Christians, and then you have liberal elites like Hillary Clinton maligning conservatives. They are so out of touch, and they have a big problem on their hands.
Yeah, Jessica, Hillary Clinton, she's in India. She's not even on American soil saying all of this. And she's saying that Trump supporters, you don't like black people getting rights, you don't like women getting jobs, you don't want to see the Indian Americans succeeding more than you are. Smart of her to say that. Why is she saying that?
Oh, I'm not sure. I certainly wouldn't have told her to say that on Indian soil or American soil. I think there is a very productive way that Hillary Clinton can be a continually great messenger for Democrats. I think that she has a powerful voice. I think that she understands the issues. She does understand the importance of inclusivity and diversity and policies that will raise up all Americans. But that's not the way to go about talking about it. As for the Joy Behar comments, I think it would be fantastic if The View would have a segment talking about this. That's what The View is supposed to be about, talking about controversial topics. They have McEnany sitting there now, who certainly would bring the conservative voice to this. And I think there should be an open discussion about it, and that would be a way to productively move forward. But to Kayleigh's point about Democrats being so out of touch, if you look at what's going on right now in Pennsylvania's 18th district, everyone go out and vote today for Conor Lamb, by the way, if you're in that district. He's leading right now in the latest Monmouth poll by 6 points. I don't think that means the Democrats are so out of touch.
All right, so Kayleigh, do you think that she brought up Joy Behar, and we played that soundbite at the top of the segment. Do you think that she did apologize to Vice President Pence? He said that last night on Sean Hannity's show. Do you think that she needs to apologize publicly? Because the vice president had a problem with her offending tens of millions of Americans who are of faith.
Absolutely. You know, she publicly lambasted Christians as mentally ill, and yet she wants to privately apologize. She needs to issue a public apology because, Ainsley, you know as well as I do that Christianity, it's who you are. It's so deeply personal to the identity of hundreds of millions of men and women in this country, 227 million to be precise. She owes them an apology, and she represents this liberal attitude where it's okay, it's permissible to just lambast Christians, go after them, attack them, and we need to stand up and we need to make the call and we need to boycott ABC and send an unmistakable message that until she apologizes, we as Christians will not watch that program.
Jessica, I think you brought up a great point. I think they do need to make it a talking point. If they do you think that she will apologize?
I think that she absolutely will. I think that she'll apologize for what it was, which I believe was a bad joke. And I'm not saying that that could have flown with any other religion. I understand that if she said that about Muslims or she said that about Jews, there would have been a far larger backlash against it. I don't think that it would have happened. But I don't believe that she said this to be lambasting Christians, as it were.
Then why isn't she apologizing?
Well, she feels that she did apologize because she spoke with Vice President Pence and she did that. But as I said and led with this, I think that this would be a very productive segment on The View to talk about it. And I'm sure that she would apologize to any who were offended by her comments.
Okay, we'll see. Kayleigh, Jessica, thanks for being with us.
Thanks, Ainsley.
You're welcome.
Ainsley.